Canadian football is an exciting sport, steeped in over a century of history and tradition. With its origins from rugby, combined with gridiron football, the CFL has created a unique and exciting sports experience. With 9 teams competing to win the coveted Grey Cup each year, and a drafting process that helps keep teams constantly updated with fresh, talented college players, every season is unique. I hope this video series has helped teach you the basics of this fantastic sport, which is eagerly awaiting new fans, just like you. But don't just take my word for it. I spoke to some big names in the CFL industry as to why you should be watching the CFL this year.
You know, I know it's immediately compared to the NFL or NCAA football. It's just different. It's not the same football. The CFL is not a minor league NFL.
What I love about the CFL, which is in my roots, is that different style. 12 players to a field instead of 11, a wider field, a longer field, and it can make for some really big plays.
There's more emphasis on the passing game. It's a little more wide open. There's a lot more pre-snap motion, so it looks like there's something always happening.
You can have multiple players in motion. In the CFL, you'll see this. Multiple receivers can be moving. There's something, it's called a waggle, and what a waggle is, the slot backs, which are the inside receivers, can be on the move heading towards the line of scrimmage, almost be up at full speed just about by the time they begin their pass routes.
I also had the pleasure of speaking to the CFL Hall of Fame wide receiver Milton Stegle about what makes this game so special. So Milt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, no problem.
In your career, having made that switch from the NFL to the CFL, looking back, was it a straightforward transition, or were there more hiccups that you perhaps weren't expecting?
Yes, there were plenty of hiccups that I wasn't expecting. You know, coming from the NFL and thinking that, you know, you're the best of the best, and I got to the CFL and it was a slap in the face, literally. You know, it's a different game, especially for a receiver. It's a different game. And it took me literally like 18, 19 games to get used to it, you know. But once I finally figured it out, once I understand the different nuances of the game, I was able to translate and use my abilities to take full advantage of it. But those first like year and a half, it was a tough transition, and it's difficult. Some folks don't make it. I was fortunate where I was able to work hard and make it, but it's not an easy transition.
Yeah, can you think of any special gameplay changes or small things that you maybe didn't like at the start that you then learned to grow towards?
Well, one, and I didn't know it right away. Fortunately, someone told me, but I did not know you couldn't fair catch the ball. Right. Basically, I was up there for like 4 or 5 days, and I played, you know, 4 or 5 days later, and I didn't know all the rules. They didn't tell me all the rules, unfortunately. So I'm back there, you know, waving my hand, thinking I can fair catch the ball. And fortunately, there was somebody who yelled at me, "You can't fair catch it. You have to return it." And I was, you know, up in arms about that rule. But once you start understanding the game and how fast paced it is, it's part of the game. And I loved every minute of it. I mean, I only returned punts for a year or two, so I definitely have a problem with it. But that's one of the rules that makes the CFL what it is.
So talking about those fans, in the CFL, there are obviously many, many rivalries. Which ones excited you the most, especially as a Blue Bomber?
Well, for me, as you alluded to, being a Winnipeg Blue Bomber, there's no place like Winnipeg. And scoring in front of those fans, there's nothing like it. The one touchdown that resonates more than any other touchdown I've scored is when I broke the touchdown record. And the roar of that crowd was crazy. But a close second is when we played in Regina. You know, playing in Saskatchewan, those fans are also, they're upbeat, they're rowdy, and scoring at an opposing team's venue, there's nothing else like it. You know, sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes the fans are screaming or yelling at you. And especially if, it's a winning touchdown or it's a touchdown that's going to help you take the lead, there's nothing like that. But the fact that I got to play in Winnipeg for 14 years and score touchdowns with those fans, that's something that I enjoy still to this day.
The Overtime Show has big things planned for the future. So like, share, subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you in the next video.